My name is Chris Duncan, your host. I interview top experts and guests who have achieved total freedom and share with you the strategies that I have used to not just create one, but help over 200 people start a six-figure freedom business where they can travel, enjoy their life, and make the money they truly deserve. Enjoy the show. Welcome, Fast Trackers, to another episode of the Total Freedom Show, your fast track to total freedom. My name is Chris Duncan, your host, and today I'm here with Kat Howell, who is in my home country. It is not very usual that I get to speak to someone from Takapuna in the North Shore in Auckland, New Zealand. So, Kat, I am excited to have you here, and it's going to be fun. What we're going to talk about today, listeners, is we're going to talk about Facebook ads. We're going to talk about funnels. We're going to talk about if you're a freelancer, maybe we'll even cover how to start as a freelancer, how to actually grow an agency, if you've got a small business, how to grow ads. But Kat, I'm super excited, so thank you for making some time to be here on the show.
Wow, what an intro. Thank you. Thanks, Chris. It's a pleasure to be here.
And you're originally from Canada, right? And you're living in New Zealand, and you said that your husband imported you and you started your business 5 years ago. I would love you to just give the listeners a quick background of who you are and what it is that you're up to.
Yeah, so I'm the founder of 8 Loops Social. So we're essentially one of Australasia's top Facebook ad agencies. We focus mainly around social media and Facebook ads, but it sort of wasn't where I got started. I got started in the internet world trying to launch a travel website without any knowledge of how to sell online or how to build communities or even how to use Facebook ads. And when I first launched, I remember I literally thought I would be rich and sailing in a private yacht within a couple months. I literally thought you just created a website and the crowds will come, right? This is not something you learn in school. It's not something they teach you in university. Mm-hmm. And as you can imagine, that is certainly not the case when you create an online business. And so I went onto a very steep learning curve. It cost me a lot of money and a lot of wrinkles. And that's what's led me to where I'm at now in my business.
Well, that's exciting. And so 8 Loop Social is mainly focused on, I guess, what the problem is that you had, which is Facebook ads. So who are you working with the most now? What are you most excited about?
Yeah, so we really work with 3 different types of verticals or niches, if you will. So we work with quite a few big brands. We work with a lot of e-commerce, and then we work with coaches, consultants, and experts, so online entrepreneurs. This last one is probably one of the fastest growing ones out there. There's a lot of people that are waking up to the fact that there's a lot of money to be made online, and not just money, but it's a really great way to share your knowledge, your services, your offerings without being limited or restricted to what in the past you had to do on a local level. Yeah. So I think more and more entrepreneurs now, and not just entrepreneurs, but more and more people are realizing or getting fed up with the 9 to 5 and realizing that there is a path to be made in the online space.
It's true. And it's so interesting. So listeners, wherever you are in the world, I know some of you are in South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, the US, Canada, UK, and Asia. The great thing is I'm here in San Diego. I'm talking to you in New Zealand. I remember being in New Zealand and thinking, gee, there's no one around. And there's nobody here. And it's a great place. It's a great country. I love my country. I'm so proud of it. But there wasn't enough people around, and there was so many people leaving, right, to go to Australia and go overseas. And it's funny now that I am overseas. But I remember at the time thinking, I just wish there was a way I could, get out there and grow. So I think, you're spot on, really, with the power of the internet. So you started doing that, didn't you? You actually left and became a freelancer first. Is that right?
Yeah, I was a marketing manager for a company, and I was surrounded by entrepreneurs every day. It was for a business district, and I was surrounded by property developers and business owners and entrepreneurs. And I think it was really very much that saying that you are the people you surround yourself with. And it just sort of started to rub off on me. And I started to realize if these guys can do this, there's no reason I can't. So that's sort of how I caught the bug, and I decided to go out on my own. And it wasn't the smooth ride that I had initially anticipated. There was a lot of big bumps along the way, but I think it all led me to where I'm at now in my business. And it was certainly I had to go through those failures, if you will, in order to have the social media agency and the businesses that I have now.
Wow. It never actually pans out as we think, right? I mean, no. I think there's not a single entrepreneur that has actually got it and it been as easy as they first thought. It's kind of funny that way. So you obviously went from a job to starting a business, which I think a lot of people listening would love to make that transition and create that jump. You talked about hanging out around successful people. So how important was that for you, hanging around those other people that kind of gave you that belief and that confidence right at the beginning?
I think it's one of the most important things you can do if you're trying to build or up-level yourself. Yeah. Even with the friendships that I had while I decided to have my own business, all my friends are entrepreneurs, but they were all sort of in that startup phase, so struggling, if you will. Yeah. And I think we have a really bad habit in the entrepreneurial world to always focus on the negatives and the struggles and, you know, how hard it is. And I think what that does is it perpetuates this mindset or this really vicious cycle where you feel like you can't get traction. And so I believe that when you start to hang around or you start to connect with individuals that are earning 7 figures a month, or, you know, they're flying first class around the world, it really, really puts a fire under your ass in many ways, right? Because then you start to look at what you're trying to achieve. And it's that saying, right? If you aim for the stars, you're going to land on the moon.
Yeah.
So you need to surround yourself with that so that you get your mindset and your reality becomes that. Yeah.
It's true. A lot of times I've seen that happen. Getting around those people, everything changes, but it's not everything, right? So you started out, and let's talk a little bit about, you know, how you started and how you got off to the start that you did, because you've been successful, and you know, not every business gets down the track. And I think is it 5 years you've been doing Facebook and social media?
Yeah, about, and it's so different back then. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's dive into that. What are some of the biggest lessons that you learned starting out and starting your agency for people out there wanting to start?
Yeah, I think one of the big things, and I think you touched on something that actually is one of the big questions that I have as well, right? So some of the common things you probably hear from a lot of people you interview, or for your listeners that are being told, you know, well, here's what you need to succeed. You need to surround yourself with, you know, success or uplifting mindsets. You need to have the drive, and you need to just pick yourself up. You need to have goal setting, rituals that, you know, dreamscaping, all of that stuff. And a lot of it is, okay, well, is it possible to have all of that and still not be successful, right? So I think in my situation, I definitely consider myself very lucky. I look at my storyline and where I got to, and while I always had, you know, I always picked myself up, I think there was some definite opportunities that came my way. But I think as an entrepreneur, two of the big things is understanding that when those opportunities are there, to take them and to understand when they're happening. A lot of people don't even realize when they have opportunities in front of them. And I think the other second thing is to not give yourself a crutch. So essentially, no plan B. And I know this is very controversial, because a lot of people might be thinking I can't quit my job because it's too risky. But I know in my own case, not having a choice to earn that money because I have employees, because I have a mortgage, because I have to support my family, is really what picks me up when I hit the bumps, because I have no choice. I don't have a plan B. So I think that's also a very, very important part of success, is to, most people will fly when they're thrown off the edge. Yeah.
Wow. That's such a great quote.
Well, I think I swiped that, but yeah.
It's, I love how you put that. I mean, Kat, to talk about it as a crutch, it really is, isn't it? You know, when you just have to succeed, there's no other way. I think most people do find it, but it's like a lot of us don't allow ourselves to even realize what's possible. You know, it's as though we've you know, been burnt once or failed once, and you know, we kind of get scared as we grow up. We forget what it was like to be that baby who didn't even know how to walk, you know. And I mean, starting a business, it can be difficult, and a lot of people talk about it being difficult, but you know, it's really just metrics and understanding the numbers and what it is you need. And so I love that you've really mentioned that. So what do people really need to understand to take that jump? Because I know there's people listening, they hear it and they go, yeah, that's all right for you, but I'm not risking my house and my family and putting myself under that pressure. So what do they need to know?
I mean, the first thing you need to know is that, I guess, you know, I'm sitting here telling you how successful my business is, but I guess it's important for our entrepreneurs to also realize, like, I do go through a lot of shit, right? I have a lot of moments. I'm having a moment with PayPal right now, and it's it's one of the most stressful experiences in my life. And they're holding all my cash. So I think you know, it's not a situation where you know, it's just you're successful and that's it, right? You're always going to have those moments in any business, in any moment in your business. And in fact, I believe they get bigger, but the challenges get bigger, but your mindset is more equipped for it at that stage. So I think that in itself is probably the biggest thing, is if you don't believe that you can make it, you won't. So in order for you to make the jump, you just have to back yourself 100%. And you have to believe in your mind that this is, you know, there's no other option. And it's never going to pan out the way you thought, as you mentioned before. But as long as you believe that that is the, you know, that your why is solid and your goals are solid, and you know you're going to be successful one way or the other, you know, you will get there. And it's probably not going to be the way you expect it, but you will get there. But that's probably the most important thing. Before you make that jump, you have to make sure you don't have any stories going on inside your head saying, well, this is going to take me years and years and I can never be successful and everyone else is lucky except for me. Because that is just going to self-sabotage your success, right? So,
right. I love it. And we've covered so much already. And here's what I've taken from the first half. And we're about to have a short break, listeners, as you know, we normally do. But here's what I've taken from it so far is number one, you know, if you want to get into a certain area or niche, you know, surround yourself with the right people. Number two is what Kat did was she actually went out there and got a job and was freelancing and working on it while getting paid. Then I just love the last piece is where you've just got to back yourself. And most people don't know that they can fly if they were to jump off the edge. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to get some of Kat's top tips. We're going to understand exactly what it is that you need to do to explode on Facebook. So stay tuned and we'll be back right after the break. Stop and listen to this. I really hope you're enjoying the show. This is Christopher Duncan here. And I just want to let you know that some of you out there need to get started in building your wealth online. Have more freedom, more time off. We've got a huge amount of gifts, online webinars, trainings, and other actionable things that you can go and learn from so you can get started. Whether you want to have more time off by using outsourced VAs, whether you need a system to start or grow your business, if you need more leads, if you need to make more money, just by listening to this show, we want to invite you to be able to go and get some free trainings from me and other experts. Go over to the link www.christophermduncan.com/gifts and you will receive everything that you need to have total freedom. Now let's get back to the show. Write that down, www.christophermduncan.com/gifts, and let's get back to the show. I hope you enjoy it. Welcome back, listeners. I'm here with Kat Howell, who is a social media expert. We've been talking lots of things. In fact, we've been talking about startup business, taking a jump, taking action, and believing in yourself 100%. And Kat, I've been having lots of fun. And I want to ask you this question now that we're back. I want to ask you this. If you were to go back right to the beginning, right when you were starting out, you could float back and you could tap your old self on the shoulder and you had a minute to give advice. What would that advice be? Go.
Invest in Facebook. And Facebook stuff. I mean, I think I would just have, I probably would have stayed away from a lot of the typical society pressures or beliefs where you have to get married and buy a house and have a job, and that's the way we're supposed to live life. And so I probably would have surrounded myself with coaches or successful people a lot sooner. Yeah.
Huge. What's freedom to you? What matters most?
I think it's discretionary time. So I think that for me is success is and is the ability to have time to, I guess, do or pursue whatever it is that you want, whether that is traveling somewhere in luxury or that is just being able to have a weekend. I think you can have a very successful business that turns a lot of revenue and become a prisoner to it very easily, especially if you're in that startup phase. So I think freedom and success is, for me, discretionary time.
Totally. And by discretionary, meaning doing what you love.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So asking the same thing a different way. If you could only take your experience, no contacts, no money, nothing, you starting over from scratch, only what it is that you've experienced, and you have to start from scratch today, how would you start?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great question. I would definitely, the first thing I would do is go find someone that has done successfully what you're trying to do. I think this is what baffles me the most, is you would never see a professional athlete try to hit the Olympics without a coach. And often they have teams of coaches. They have many, many coaches behind them. Yet in the business world, I don't know where this came from, this belief that you have to sort of figure it out on your own, or you have to struggle on your own, when in reality, if you want to get from point A to point B, the best and the fastest and the most effective way to do that is find yourself a mentor or a coach or someone that has done that, and then get them to mentor you so that you bypass all those learning curves, all those very expensive and time-consuming learning curves.
So true. I couldn't express more power behind that statement. I mean, the slowest way to learn anything is through experience. A smart person learns from their own mistakes, and a wise person learns from the mistakes of others. And there were so many people go out there trying to recreate the wheel. So obviously you're a Facebook expert, social media expert, been speaking around the globe, running an agency for over 5 years. I would love you to speak to the person out there that has never run Facebook ads or has not made money using Facebook, and take them through your tips or your advice, your steps, so that they can be super successful.
Yeah, I think some of the biggest things that we see, certainly from new Facebook advertisers out there, is the platform in itself is fairly, Facebook even provides you with free training. So you can go to Business Blueprint, which is free, provided by Facebook. And most people tend to get their targeting right, and they tend to be able to set up their ads. And the biggest mistakes that we see happening in the Facebook world is that there's no funnel. And also, they don't understand how the platform fully works, in the sense that they're sort of half committed to it. So they'll spend about $20. They don't get any results. They panic. They turn the entire thing off. When in fact, for example, the cost per conversion would have been $40. So they haven't even let the campaign run long enough to get any traction. And then, as I mentioned, the second part of that is that there's no actual sales funnel behind the ad. So they're just trying to direct people to a sales page. So they're directing cold audiences to a sales page. And that's probably the fastest way to lose a lot of money on Facebook ads. And that's two of the biggest mistakes that we see with new advertisers on the platform.
Wow. So in order to be successful, I guess it's to actually be brave enough to spend a few thousand. I mean, at the moment, we're spending around about 25,000 a week. And the one thing that I saw on your site that I really loved is you're like, I can show you how to spend $1 and make $5. And that gets me excited. I'll spend $1 to make $5 every day, all day, every minute. I'll go get loans from the bank for that. So how is that even possible? I mean, I know it's possible, but do you explain, like, how does that actually work to get an ROI of 5x on Facebook? Because I mean, that's a significant claim. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. You probably won't find this on any other type of advertising platform, right? It's insane. And I think that's actually even conservative for some verticals. So last month we had a client that made $350,000 from $4,000. So that I don't even know what the ROI on that is. But
I want to be in that business. What are they selling?
Well, they were selling a high ticket coaching program, right? So that's where your funnel comes into to play. So if you are able to generate a lead and then build trust and affinity, and then convert them, especially normally those high ROIs, the ones I just explained to you before, that normally is what you will see for a high ticket offer. So mostly coaches, consultants. In e-commerce, what we tend to see is the cost per conversion. The ROI is a little bit less because you've got cost of goods sold. So around 20% will go into your ad spend. But even then, that's incredible ROI for an advertising platform. But all of that really is all hinging on your ability to generate a lead and then to build trust and affinity with them and retarget them. And also understanding what is the quickest and fastest way to do that. What we see is a lot of people going, okay, well, I want to sell someone into my online course or sell someone to get my products. So first I'm going to get them to download a lead magnet, and then they're going to get 10 video series and 16 emails behind that. And once they get this email, they have to join a webinar, and then they'll go in here, and then I get a discount offer. And it's extremely convoluted, and your your tolerance for a leaky funnel is a lot lower. Whereas what you should be looking at, how do I generate that lead and then nurture them into a sale? And then what is the quickest and minimum viable way that I can do that? So there's a lot of solutions that you can do with Facebook. For example, you can run a lead ad where you can collect people's phone numbers, emails straight in Facebook. If you're a car dealership, or if you're trying to sell quotes, a financial planner, whatever it might be, you can get people requesting quotes. And you never have to create landing pages or send anyone to a website. So you have to really understand, how do I get that? How do I nurture the lead first? How do I get the lead and then nurture them? And what is the easiest and quickest way I can do that? And that's when you start to get really good ROI.
That's huge. So obviously you've got so much experience on there. Who are your favorite people to work with at the moment? Who's winning big on Facebook?
You mean like the niches or a specific name?
Yeah. No, not people's names. No. Niches, yeah.
Yeah. I think e-commerce is sort of crazy because drop shipping is really big nowadays. So we're seeing a lot of people with Shopify stores turning insane amounts of money every month, and they never even touch their products. And so that's kind of a crazy industry. But certainly the service sectors, so coaches and consultants and experts. So if you have a skill, if you went to university for something or you taught yourself a skill, you can package this up. Especially if you've got case studies or testimonials behind you, you've already got a leg up behind most people trying to do this. So you can package this up and make some really good money. Yeah.
Wow. And so you've got a lot more, I'm sure, that there is that people need to know to get this right. And we were talking off air. You have a Facebook group or community that people can join to learn more?
Yeah, so for anyone that's sort of struggling with their Facebook ads, there is a Facebook group, Facebook Ad Hacks, and it's full of hacks and tips, and the community is really active in there and supportive. So if you've ever struggled with your ads, it's probably a good place to go for some help.
And we'll put that link in the show notes, Kat. So if everyone wants to head over to christopheranduncan.com/podcast, you'll be able to get those show notes. If you're watching this on iTunes and you want to just jump over there right now, what is the link? What is the group name?
Facebook Ad Hacks.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What an easy name to remember. Facebook Ad Hacks. So I highly recommend everyone gets over there. I'm definitely going to be in that group asking lots of questions. That's for sure.
Nice.
More about lead pages. We had massive success with lead pages for a campaign we're running last year, and we haven't put it back on. And I'm definitely excited to talk more about how those are working and what's happening. So I love chatting Facebook and Facebook ads, and from one marketer to another, it sounds like your level of knowledge on this is deep, and you seem very, very centered and pragmatic on exactly what you do. So I really appreciate your time here today. So we are going to have to round up and say goodbye in a second. But before we do, what would you like to leave our audience with today?
Yeah, so I mean, for those of you thinking that you're wanting to start your own business or your own venture, or for those of you feeling like you're getting dealt to by the universe, I guess just consider this your little high five to let you know, pat yourself on the back, just keep going. We all go through this. And if you push through this, the rainbow will definitely be on the other side of it.
You're awesome. What such a positive way to end. I have absolutely loved listening to you today and learning some things. I'm looking forward to talking to you off air as well, some more, and then jumping in your group. Listeners, I hope that you got a massive shove today. If you're in a job and you're looking to get out and start a business, start freelancing, start working with the people that you want to work with in the future. Surround yourself with positive people and make that jump, but don't give yourself a crutch. As Kat said, don't give yourself that way out. Don't allow yourself to have any option except forward, and know there's going to be some bumps along the way, but just, fail forward and focus on it. If you are doing Facebook ads, make sure you've got a funnel. If you don't have a funnel, you're really going to be in trouble, and don't be scared. Go all in, make sure you really get to that ROI. Join in her group. I highly recommend that you learn from people who are where you want to be. And I think we should end with this. The fastest way from where you want to be, from where you are to where you want to be, is to find someone who's already been there. Find a mentor, get that support, and live with total freedom. Thank you so much, Kat, for being You're a rock star. And everybody out there, subscribe, like, share this podcast out, leave us a message, and live with total freedom. Free your mind, free your time, free your life. Have an amazing day. Smash it. Hey, it's Chris. Thank you so much for listening to the Freedom Fast Track podcast episode. You are the reason we do it. I would love to hear your feedback. I'd love to get your support. So please rate the show. Please share it with your friends. It's the only reason we do it, is to get more people living virtually free, to travel the world, make more money, have more time off, and to do more of what they love. If you want to increase your freedom, if you want to make more money, if you want to have more time doing what you love, head over to christophermduncan.com. There's free trainings, gifts, and updates on how you can be expanding your business and expanding your freedom. Again, thank you so much. Please rate and subscribe to the show, and head over to that site right now so you can get started on your journey to total freedom.